Works Board to bring it to
Order.
yes,
Order.
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 Yes. All right, thank you. Clerk Gallia, roll call, please.
Grady,
Here.
Alderman Ted Grady,
He's here.
Alderman Rapella,
Here.
Alderman Nichols,
Here.
Alderman Taylor,
Here.
Alderman Sevenik,
Here.
Alderman Langdon,
Here.
Alderman Schmidt,
Here.
all are present.
Thank you, Clerk.
Mark, did you have the mayor pull up the agenda for us?
Yes, I forgot. Thank you. Hey, Mayor, could you, I had a request to pull up the agenda for this. Could we do that? Awesome.
Can you scroll it up a little bit?
Thank you. Thank you. And we all,
Thank you.
and then we didn't shrink too much. Thank you, Mayor. Okay. First thing we have to do is the minutes to approve from the January 18th,
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve the January 18th, 2021 minutes.
Oh, do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right. Motion by Alderman Taylor, second by Alderman Ted Grady. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any nays? No? Who said that? Minutes are approved. Okay. First on the list is we have a communication, and what it is that it's the Public Works Department updates, and they put this in communication. They just wanted to give us aldermen and the mayor an update on what's going on and happening. And so they're each going to take a little something and talk about it. And then we also have a new hire, and she is going to take a little bit and talk about it. And so that's going to be what the communication is about. And her name is Laura Youngworth. Did I say that right?
Yes, that is correct.
Awesome. Awesome. So I'd like to introduce Laura Youngworth. She's a new hire and civil engineer. And then when she says she can introduce herself and tell us a little bit about her. So, all right. So the first one is Public Works Department updates. Adam, do you want to know? Corey, do you want to start?
Yes, thanks, Alderman Langdon.
Yes.
So basically what we're kind of trying to do here is we're some of these are ideas that we're working on, and we'll be bringing some information forward. Other stuff is just kind of where we're at as a department and as we're working forward this winter, fall, not fall, winter, spring time frame. So the first thing here is street projects. We're working on the design of our road projects: Appleton Street, A Street, Jefferson Street, Southfield Drive, Lisbon, Baldwin, Nicolay Boulevard, Milwaukee Street, the Lake Park Villas subdivision area. And this would include some sidewalk on Midway Road and then the remaining piece on Province Terrace. Currently, we're working on the contract documents for the crack seal program. The next item historically, the general fund was used for maintenance and construction of street projects. Long term, we're looking to potentially look at or propose the idea of a transportation utility or a wheel tax to kind of either replace or supplement some of the tax collected on the levy for that. And then also one of the other items we're looking at is our current policy is for assessment on sidewalks. There's been a number of areas in the recent past that have we've covered the cost of the sidewalks through TIFs and things of that nature. We've also been working to try to fill in gaps where that type of sidewalk has not been assessed. So to try to clean things up, we're looking for maybe a little guidance or bringing a policy change forward to potentially just absorb the cost of sidewalks going forward and then not have them assessed. That kind of covers that items. Adam is going to cover the operations.
Thank you.
Sure. We've been trying to keep you guys abreast as to where we're at with the Public Works facility, and as you guys all got your invitations, or if you didn't, you'll get one fairly soon this week that we're going to offer lunch and tours for you folks, as well as any city staff that's interested in taking a tour out there. So we're looking at next week starting demolition on the remainder of the facility. So we're moving in. We are for the most part moved in. We're in the process of finding homes for everything. So it might be a little cluttered when you guys get out there this week, but we're excited and just happy that we have this opportunity at this new facility. So the other item there, we have been making plans for. We did ensure that the roof structure is able to support the weight of a solar system. So we did apply for an energy innovation grant through the PSC, looking for upwards to $40,000 to help fund that project. We are submitting yet another grant request or application this week, and there might even be a fourth one. Actually, the focus on energy is no longer a competitive bid type of grant. That one is primarily prescriptive, but we'll certainly keep you folks abreast as to what happens with this project. We're looking forward to putting up an array that would provide about 80% of our overall power or electrical needs for the facility.
Wow.
So, Corey, you want to handle the sanitary end?
Yep. So on the sanitary end, one thing we would like to try and bring forward here, typically in the past, or we currently have a policy in place where the sanitary laterals, if we deem them not dysfunction, but in need of repair, things of that nature, we can send the resident a notice, discuss or letting them know, hey, your lateral's in bad condition. We're going to be doing a road paving project. Now's the time to do it. Last year was the first year that we were fairly aggressive with that. We've done some laterals where we've replaced them just up out of the street into the terrace. But what we're looking to do is firm up that policy or that ordinance, giving us a little more backbone in this, where we're able to more forcefully require people to replace laterals. What we're running into is we're trying to replace laterals out of the street, or we're looking at them when we're trying to make a decision on an old clay lateral and saying that this lateral's in okay shape or poor condition or whatnot. And then what's happening is people have problems or failures up in their yard, and they're coming in and they're hiring a contractor to replace that lateral, and then they want to go out and cut into our brand new street. So what we're looking to try and do is come in conjunction with a street project, just come in and try to replace the laterals from the main either into the terrace or into the home if they're clay laterals or a failing cast iron. Typically PVC, there's no issues with those types of laterals. So we're looking to try to firm that ordinance up and hopefully move us in the right direction with that. Then Laura, she is going to handle our next section here, the stormwater.
Good evening, everybody. Can you hear me? I just want to make sure. Okay, good. Before I jump into kind of the update on stormwater, I do want to give a little introduction and kind of give you some information as to who I am, where I come from. I am a UW Platteville graduate in environmental engineering. I worked for the city of Oshkosh for 13 years and then the village of Harrison for just over a year. My background has predominantly been stormwater. So that's kind of where I started at Oshkosh. I was one of the people in the stormwater department there. So we started in its very infancy, grew the program. We've done a lot for Oshkosh with flood control. As you know, we had a lot of issues down there. Still a number of years to go, but that was one of the big things I was heavily involved in at the forefront of, and then kind of working with some of our DNR reduction initiatives we have to meet as well. So that has helped me to, once I started here, be able to jump right in with that background, jumping into some of the stormwater things that are actually coming up due very quickly for Menasha. So that's going to lead me into here. Kind of what we're looking at doing at this point in time. Every municipality that has actually over 10,000 people is required to hold an MS4 permit with the DNR. So this is a municipal separate sewer system permit. I know, I'm sure you guys have heard this. This has been around for a while. We are actually currently under a TMDL for the Fox River in Menasha. So I know you've seen the action plans and things come through. So you're probably relatively informed about it. Yeah. So I won't go too much into depth with that. But what we are doing at this point is working on the annual report. That is something that does need to come to council for approval before it does get submitted to the DNR. Gives you guys all a chance to look at that, review it, make sure everything looks good before that package goes off to them. New this year that the DNR has actually come out with is that they want a program update. So also due March 31st of 2021, they are requesting kind of a self-audit, I'm calling it, of where your program is at. What are you doing good? What do you need to be working on? So it's kind of the perfect opportunity for me to jump in and, what are we doing now? What have we been doing? What do we need to do to meet their requirements? What are some of the add-ins we need to bring in? So we've been doing a fantastic job overall. There are just some things that I think we're looking at maybe buttoning up, adding, increasing inspection frequencies and involvement with private sites. I think that's a big thing that the DNR has been recently pushing is they want more city staff involvement with the private stormwater best management practices to make sure they're being maintained, make sure they're meeting their water quality and flood control reductions. So a lot more follow-up needs to happen there from our end. So those are kind of some of the things that I'm working on right now. I am writing up this audit, so to speak, or this program update. So that's going to be coming out to you probably with, I would imagine, the annual report. So you'll be seeing some of that. Hopefully we can do a presentation and kind of go over that with you soon. The other thing is that as of February 27th of this year, sorry, we're already in 2020, it was approved last February, the TMDL for the Lake Winnebago watershed. So we are going to have to do a reanalysis of our modeling. That was last done in 2015. So we're going to have to do a citywide modeling update, analyze where we are at, the practices we've done in the last handful of years. What do we need to do to get us to our ultimate goal down the line? So I'm assuming we're probably going to have to edit our action plan, revise that. And so that's going to be a work in progress for some time. There's some grants actually that the DNR has right now that hopefully we can apply for that'll help us fund some of that. So we are looking into that, and we're going to do what we can to try and keep costs low. But those are just some of the things coming up here within the next year or two that we're going to be seeing, needing to get looked at and analyzed. So moving on, we are in the process, and this kind of ties into our TMDL, the BRIN project. This was kind of in the 2030 timeframe for our action plan, but with the fire and BRIN development, it's kind of fast-tracked the project, at least from our perspective with stormwater treatment. So we've been actually working with the developer, a lot of coordination. We're working on assembling plans, permitting, kind of getting everything we need to get squared away to get that project rolling. So that's a big thing that Corey and I have been working on together. And then lastly, the riprap spillway under the pedestrian bridge. So at the Lake Park Villas, there's a series of ponds that kind of all connect together behind the sports complex and the retirement community back there. There is an issue with the spillway between two of the ponds. It's actually the water is going underneath the riprap and round rather than over it. So it's undercutting. It's actually probably a good 3 foot deep cut going around it.
Wow.
So there's some failures and things going on that we need to address. Plans have been assembled for that. We have some final tweaks we need to do, and then we're going to look at bidding that out to fix that, I believe, yet this year.
Wow, awesome. A lot of stuff here, guys. I'm impressed. Welcome aboard, Laura. Hope you're very welcome. I know that you will enjoy working with everybody on second floor. Everybody's great. So does anybody have any thing that they would like to ask or say about the communication? Boy, everybody's small. Alderman Savinik.
Becky, I had a wave.
Okay.
Anyways,
Oh, there. Okay, Becky. I see. I get you. I will get you.
okay, well, anyways, also too, Laura, I want to welcome you to the city of Menasha, our team here. Looking forward to working with you in the future. Adam, you said that I did get the letter today for the tour, and you said there was going to be a meal provided. So I have special dietary needs. So I'm just kidding.
I heard that prime rib or something.
Prime
Is that what I
rib.
heard? Okay.
I'm just kidding. No, what I wanted to ask you, I think we need to take this solar thing more serious, very serious. Have we looked at WPPI for some type of grant or something? Because, you know, we were their first customer and we worked very well with WPPI. I was hoping maybe we could get something with them going.
Matter of fact, that is one of the grants that is due Friday, that we're hoping that we can piggyback on top of the Focus on Energy
I read
grant.
something somewhere
Right.
about that, but, you know, I read my packet on, what was it, Saturday or something, so.
Yes. So there is a grant, WPPI Renewable Energy Grant that's due on Friday. We're getting the rest of the information that we need to meet the application, the requirements of that application that will be going out. And I believe that WPPI has another a grant opportunity that would be due a little bit later in the year. But our grant that we submitted to the PSC sort of outlined or was kind of open, banking on perhaps getting those 3 grants to make it affordable for us, utilizing the WPPI's member loan program, which we've used to update our street lights to LED. So Just so everyone's aware, I think in 2018, we were awarded the WPPI grant, and at that time it was focused on energy. It wasn't prescriptive. It was a recip grant. However, we were unable to construct the facility in 2019 as we had hoped, so we actually had to give those funds back. So hopefully we'll get it again this time around, and we'll be able to move forward with this solar project.
Okay, thanks, Adam.
Alderman Becky,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
First, let me say I so appreciate this memo. I don't know that we've ever seen anything like it before, and
Oh.
I appreciate having this glimpse of what exactly you are working on right now and through the coming months based on what was presented in our budget, but other things that are going on. And I really hope that we can see more of this from Public Works and from other departments. I think it's really helpful in keeping us updated and also the community updated on what's going on. I do have a couple comments and questions, and I'm going to start at the bottom of the document, or the end, so to speak, with the stormwater. And welcome, Ms. Youngworth. It's a pleasure to have you, and I look forward to getting to know you and learning more about you as we move forward. I think you might have answered my question, but just to clarify, we approved, or at least accepted, I'll say, a stormwater action plan within, I want to say, the last 2 years. I'm not sure if that's the one that was worked on, since 2015 or what that was. So based on the fact that the new TMDLs for the Upper Fox and Wolf River basins have been approved, are we going to need to develop an entirely new stormwater management plan?
Yes, yes, we will. So I think from what I had read, the action plan was approved in 2018, and that information was based off of the study that was completed in 2015. So yes, the study will need to be revised first and foremost. They will produce, probably a handful of alternatives for us. We'll have to look at sites and analyze sites and kind of, it's gonna take a good amount of coordination. And when I say they, I mean likely a consultant. We actually had McMahon previously, not that we need to go with them again. But the programs that these consultants have are pretty extensive to be doing these models. So yes, we will need to probably revise that once we probably get more information with the TMDL. It's still relatively new. I think there's a lot of meetings and conferences and things that are going to be held to go over a lot more of that. But yes, we'll have to show progress to show how we're going to be meeting those goals. Whether that be 25 years, 50 years, I don't know if we want to go out that far, but that's something we'll have to look at the numbers when they come back in.
Okay, thank you.
One thing to add to that, Alderman Nichols, the eastern part of the city, typically Oneida Street, that's where the Lake Winnebago watershed is going to be. That's our newer area of the city. So there are more existing ponds and stormwater BMPs and things of that nature out there right now. It's going to be easier. I don't want to say much easier because I don't quite fully know yet, but it's going to be easier than what we're facing with the western half of the city in the lower Fox, because there's not as much stuff on this side of the city.
Mm-hmm.
Just to build on what Laura had mentioned.
Right. And I hope that as we move through that process, we can explore alternatives to ponds and that sort of thing, because we don't have a lot of space for more ponds. So thank you for that clarification. Moving on up to the sanitary lines. Deputy Director Gordon, you mentioned that what you've noticed is that residents are not repairing their services before the road is being paved, even after, I assume you've talked to them about it, correct? You've notified them?
So what we ran into, so in the past, kind of some history on this. In the past, with the projects, we would go in there and we would try to identify some laterals, look at them ahead of time. We never had anything in place to put the ownership of the lateral on the homeowner. The homeowners own the laterals. So we would identify issues and we would cover them as part of the price of our project. What we did a couple years ago is we changed the ordinance where we can identify defects and force the property owners to fix the laterals. So what we did is we sent out a number of letters. We went through, I don't know how many properties there were last year, but we ended up with around 20 that we sent them letters and indicated that you have an issue with your lateral. We have an assessment policy that we help them out paying for this, the same as our regular street deferred assessment policy. We sent them letters. Some people replied. We sent them a second letter. Maybe one or two more people replied to that, and then a number of people did not. So what we did in that situation is the ordinance allows us to go in and fix those laterals. We went in and we fixed them to the road right of way. But there's still potential defects up in the private property. We don't have anything where we can go in and if we identified a lateral that was leaking 20 gallons a minute in someone's front yard, it would be difficult for us right now to force them to fix that. So what we're looking to do is firm up that ordinance where we have more authority to do that.
Of the folks that you didn't hear from, or folks that may have not completed the repairs, have we followed up with them in any way to ask why the repairs weren't performed?
So we did do the repairs. We went in and we fixed the lateral to the road right of way. We're in the process of finaling those numbers out and getting those bills out. So they're going to get a bill from us for that work because the ordinance allows for us to do that.
Okay. So I think as you work to develop that policy, it might be important to understand why the property owner didn't take the initiative in the first place.
We have, so we've been doing the sump pump inspection for 8-10 years now. We have people that we've been charging that fee, that $50, or even some commercial properties $1,000 a month for years. I don't know why they don't comply.
Yes, but I think that's helpful information and that you can use to craft that policy. It's just beneficial to understand why so that we can have a policy that's responsive to the needs of the community. And lastly, streets at the top. I know that I talked to Director Alex briefly about this morning, and just some comments about the Nicolay Boulevard portion of the contracts and the fact that the Racine Street Bridge is scheduled to close late summer, I believe. And so with the water main project and the street repair, just to keep in mind that it would be of benefit to have that street completed earlier in the season so that folks can use that when the bridge is closed.
So I did, to build on to your statement, we will take that into consideration and note that definitely for the section of Nicolay Boulevard from Anup Street over to Washington Street. I'm not sure if the remaining portion, basically where the boulevard is, if that's as critical, because Riverway and Kai's, where the roundabout is going on the south side of the bridge, that's going to remain open. So Kai's Anup Street intersection will remain open until 22. The bridge, the earliest that they can close the bridge down without coming to us and asking permission would be September 1st. At this point, it's too early to tell you where they are on schedule. I know they were maybe a little bit ahead, but I know they've had some delays with the amount of gates that are open.
Yes, that makes sense. You said that Anup Street to Kai's remains open.
That should
Until-
remain open until like 22, the spring of 22.
Okay.
Just the bridge itself. So Main Street intersection will
Yep.
be open, and then Riverway, Kai's, is that Nassau right there? That kind of Five Corners intersection will remain open until 22, spring
right.
of 22.
I'm jotting that down. Thank you. And that's all I have.
Alderman Rapella?
Thank you, Alderman Langdon. Adam, with the advent of we getting energy conscious with our city garage, was there any thought of putting in an electrical outlet for future electrical vehicles that the city will purchase?
There is. We actually provided for some infrastructure, knowing that we will at some point here in the near future have electric vehicles. So we are making plans for that, yes.
Okay, great. Has any thought been to provide those blue your trucks with make them electrical energy efficient?
That and our sort
You're
of
at
like
that.
the Equinox, the automobiles. But yes, they've come a long ways with pickup trucks as well, light duty pickup trucks that are electrical, but we will certainly be looking at that closely, yes.
Was that was that type of vehicle purchased? I know you wanted to replace some of the city vehicles this year.
We have not done that yet. We can certainly take a look at what's available, the pricing, if there's any incentives there for us. To be honest with you, I haven't priced them, but we certainly will take a look at that before we do look to make any purchases this year.
Wonderful. And I also appreciated the letter today and looking forward to the limo pickup on Thursday.
Sounds good.
All right, thanks.
Alderman Taylor?
Yeah, Randy, pick me up once the limo comes by you. Laura, welcome to
Could be the next
City
pickup.
Menasha. And you had wonderful credentials so that those were very, your credentials were very outstanding. Thank you. And Corey, I have homes on my home is 6 years old, and there's other homes on my street over 120 years old. And there's other cities I know that when you put in a new street, it's mandatory to put in the lateral. And I certainly would champion that cause. And I had both of them done when my street was done last year. The only thing I was disappointed with, the day after they put my laterals in, they told me I could get a backflow valve for $125, and they already filled my trench in. So I think in some neighborhoods that would be very wise to spend an extra $125 on a backflow valve, and we would stop certainly anything backing up in people's basements. So I think that's an option that should be presented to the public. And Adam, I think there'll be some stimulus dollars coming, and hopefully, I know the federal laws change almost daily on solar, and but I think this administration is probably going to move a little more forward with the solar and wind technology and things. So certainly, I hope that we're ready for any of those stimulus packets and on different levels too. And I know you guys are keeping an open ear to those opportunities coming up. And thank you.
Sure. Just to follow up on Alderman Taylor's comments there, the solar project is going to probably take up about maybe a third of the available space on the roof of the vehicle storage area. So there is been discussions internally about expanding that, offering up low cost power to residents, sort of like a cooperative on the solar project for, they call them solar gardens, or we would be obviously able to take advantage of any stimulus money to, I guess, expand that array and then have that also tied directly in, or go another step further and make sure that we are ready for electric vehicles. But yes, we do have plans to expand that system at some point in the near future.
Okay, thank you.
Any other? Alderman Tom Grady.
I just want to say welcome, Laura. Great job, crew. And where do we park on Thursday?
I think we'll have you guys come in off of what is got a sign of Swiderski Way and come on the backside on the east side. And we'll set up some cones for parking back there. We'll bring you guys into the maintenance shop and the office area and go from there.
All righty. Anybody else? No. Okay. So nothing on this. This was just communication. So next one is discussion action items for the public facility site plan revisions and for the fencing. And Director Adam, would that be you?
Yes, thank you, Chair.
Okay.
So what you see here on this diagram, it does identify this is an altered or a revised drawing that was used for the site review at the Plan Commission back in 2018 or 2019. And on there, we had anticipated fencing off Baldwin Street. As you can see, it would come off the corner of the maintenance facility there. The proposed gate at that time and fencing would sort of lie between the two gates out there now, the existing gates out there. We're at a point now where we're looking to do the fencing. That was something that we value engineered out of the project, and that's on us. We've installed fence before. So there's been some internal discussion here staff-wise as to why do we need it out there. Maybe we would be better off moving it to the sort of the very south end of the building. As you can see there, we've squiggly lined around the fence that was shown on at the Plan Commission and was approved and forwarded to the council. We're proposing to eliminate that fence, move it. It would be shorter fence, less money. It would secure the amount of area that we really need, which would be east of the facility. And some of the reasons that this came about, in addition to obviously being easier and less expensive for us with the fence, was we could open up Baldwin Street then. There is a rather large vacant lot just to the west of Baldwin Street there. Or I guess would enable it to more easily be developed perhaps. And then the other thing is that there was some discussion, there's been discussion and with a number of our planned new developments, and there is an ordinance in the books that limits the dead end streets to 500 feet. We do have an issue or a potential issue with 4th Street. Granted, it's been like that forever. It's like 950 feet. Well, anyways, so some of the thought is that, you know, we could eliminate that gate and then just sort of open up a thoroughfare there, provide a secondary alternate means of access to 4th Street. Keep in mind, though, this is not necessary. If we move the gate like we were proposing, we don't have to remove the 4th Street gate, but we will probably have to remove portions of it when we finish up the project here this spring, early summer with Baldwin Street, tying that into the parking lot and the curb that is being replaced or added to, again, just to refresh everyone's memory. The intent here is to provide stormwater so that we can utilize treatment at the Taco Street Pond, eliminate the need to have on-site treatment, which then was kind of, some of the drawings had it a pond earmarked to go up where the Blue Jay Bowl was off of Plank Road, which by adding the stormwater here on Baldwin Street opens that up for development as well. So that's what we want to bring this forward to. Looking for approval to move the gate or change the gate's location in the fence from what you guys had seen in the Plan Commission, and to discuss the possibility of removing the fencing. If we remove that gate, then we'd obviously look at removing all of that fencing as well along Baldwin Street there and back to the tracks.
Alderman Taylor.
Thank you, Chairman. Adam, I had a paper route on 4th Street back when the other city garage was built. And I remember former Alderman Griesbach talking to neighbors, and they were complaining about trucks and things coming down the street. And so I think with the cars is fine, but the public works facility, the vehicles, will they be using Swiderski Way?
So the intent is to use Swiderski Way, leave Baldwin Street for the public access. Obviously, service vehicles, vendors that might visit us. I would imagine we use 4th Street now on occasions for when we got carts running from Jefferson Park over back and forth. But anyways, the intent is to try and utilize Swiderski Way as much as possible. We do have the fueling system on the east side of the facility. We ensured that there is enough, the turning radius on the southwest end of the vehicle storage area was adequate for us to make the swings for the trucks. The intent is to keep us, at least our bigger pieces of equipment, our trucks, and the public separate. That was one of the issues that we had, that we were facing with the previous, now I can say previous facilities design. So that is our intention, is to use Swiderski Way.
Okay, excellent. I don't see where the neighbors would have a problem with that then. And separating was been a long time safety issue, and I'm glad to see that's resolved too. Thank you.
Yes. Any other comments? Well, Alderman Becky.
Thank you.
Yep, you bet.
This site plan came through Plan Commission when I was there, and at that time there was also a lot of conversation about removing the barbed wire as well. So where are we with that today?
So the fence that we're going to replace will obviously not have any barbed wire. We do not feel as though there is a need for that. I have talked with Deputy Director Brown and Superintendent McDonald about that. I think that we may look at this opportunity when we're working with the fence and removing some sections of fence. We could certainly look at removing some of that barbed wire, providing that we have time. But yes, I don't feel it's necessary.
I don't feel it's necessary either. If somebody wanted to get in, they could find a million ways to do that. That doesn't involve them climbing over the fence. So it is not a deterrent, but it does present a very negative image about our city. And so if we can make every effort to remove that this year, that would be a step in the right direction. Thank you.
All right, anybody else? Alderman Sevenik? No? Okay, Alderman Taylor?
Yeah, I'm in favor of electrifying the fence instead of the barbed wire. That's a joke. Yeah, the barbed wire does, we have an ordinance against that anyway, so thank you.
Alderman Rapella?
Yeah, Adam, where is the barbed wire fence?
There's 4 strands on the top of the fence that surround most of the perimeter's fencing. The only section that doesn't have it is on the west side here. It's only about a 5-foot fence, 6-foot fence, and there is no barbed wire on the west side, but everywhere else there is.
So, okay, that's what we were talking about, the barbed wire on top of the fence. Okay, got it. Yeah,
That's
it kind of
correct.
looks like a prison. Thank you.
Alderman Sevenik?
I just want to get this moving forward, so I'd like to make the motion.
Alrighty.
So make the recommended motion for approval of the relocation of the Baldwin Street fencing and gate with the removal of the 4th Street gate.
All right.
I'll second that.
Motion by Alderman Sevenik, second by Alderman Taylor. Any further discussion? Alderman Sevenik?
Sorry.
Oh, we're good. Okay. So,
I have a question.
who has a question? Becky.
Yeah, I just want to be sure that Alderman Sevenik's motion incorporates the changes that were shown in the
Yep.
I'm going along with staff's recommendation. If that means changes, that's fine.
Yep.
Thank you.
All righty. Clerk Kramer, can we have a roll call to move this to council?
Alderman Tom Grady,
Aye.
Alderman Ted Grady,
Aye.
Alderman Rapella,
Aye.
Alderman Nichols,
Aye.
Alderman Taylor,
Aye.
Alderman Sevenik,
Aye.
Alderman Langdon,
Aye.
Alderman Schmidt.
Aye.
Motion carries on roll call 8-0.
All right, number 2, water main reconstruction bid. Director Corey, would that be you?
This is Melanie Crozy at the utility.
I was going to say, Melanie, are you out there? And yes, you are.
I am out here as well as Adam Smith, the water utility manager. We recommend to award the 2021 water main project to Don Hippis in the amount of $959,960 as was laid out in the packet.
Alderman Taylor.
I will make that recommendation. The recommendation to award the 2021 water main reconstruction project to Don Hippis and Sons in the amount of $959,960.
All righty. Motion. Do I have a second? Second?
Second.
I'll second it.
Okay. Motion by Alderman Taylor, second by Alderman Ann Schmidt. Any further discussion? Okay, nope. Clerk Kramer, could we take a roll call to move this to council, please?
Alderman Tom Grady,
Aye.
Alderman Ted Grady,
Aye.
Alderman Rapella,
Aye.
Alderman Nichols,
Aye.
Alderman Taylor,
Aye.
Alderman Sevenik,
Aye.
Alderman Langdon,
Aye.
Alderman Schmidt.
Aye.
Motion carries on roll call 8-0.
Thank you, Clerk Kramer. Before I ask for a motion for adjournment, I would like to take a minute here and during the construction of the new facility, I would go out there every couple of weeks to visit and visit with Adam. And he always was polite, let me in. And I just want to commend him on what he did and how he did this new facility for us. If you guys didn't see or go in his little room, and the maps and everything didn't fit on the table, so we had to work around that. It was impressive. He had to deal with numbers all the time. And I just want to give Adam a commendament for that, and he should be applauded. And I know all of you would applaud him. So, Adam, good job.
I'll second that.
All right.
Gold star for Adam.
Thank you.
All right. You bet. You're welcome. Motion to
Motion
adjourn.
to adjourn?
Motion by Taylor, second who? Alderman Rapella.
Yes.
Second, thank you. We
Yes,
are,
second.
everybody in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Nay. We're adjourned. Thank you.